Did you ever just wish somebody would hug you? Somebody would love you enough to wrap you up in a big old hug and shelter you from the storms of life? You ever wish that? Me too. Check out this story.
He was a prairie farmer, lived way out west, flat land. He looked off in the distance and he could see the dark clouds, but they didn't have rain in them. Being an experienced prairie farmer, he knew that meant we've got a prairie fire and it's coming quick. So he got out the mule and he got out the plow and he began to plow a large ditch out around the barnyard, and went around many times. Once he got the ditch to where it was wide enough that he thought maybe it'd hold back the fire, hopefully it'd hold back at least some of the fire, he filled it with water. He and his wife and his children, they just worked all day long as they saw those dark clouds getting closer and closer. Finally, the prairie fire was on them. They lost all their crops in that one. But thankfully, as the fire would jump over that fire break, there was enough of them, wet blankets, etc., that they were able to beat out the flames. At one point, he was on top of the roof. One of his sons was on top of the barn. His wife and other children were running around the barnyard, but they were able to survive the prairie fire. Next day, the farmer's out walking, inspecting the crops and what had taken place, and he discovers this smoldering heap laying there, thinking it's an old coat or something that got left and burned up by the prairie fire that was coming through. He went over and just kind of kicked it with his boot. And when he did, he realized that it was actually not an old coat. It was the dead, charred body of a mama hen. But out from underneath her, 8 little chicks ran towards the barnyard. Jesus once said, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how often I would have gathered you together as a hen gathers her chicks unto herself, but you wouldn't come." We are God's children. We're God's chicks. And as long as we listen to him, he will shelter us. He'll take care of us. And ultimately, we're going to be just fine because we're going to go to be with him forever. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. The Lord covers us. The Lord takes care of us. He calls us under himself and shelters us from the storm. We're his people. We're his chicks. Psalm 91 and verse 4 says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." Go to God. Hang in there. You got this.